Enzyme kinetics is one of those topics that keeps coming up, especially in the biological and biochemical foundations of living systems section of the MCAT. Understanding how enzymes work and how fast they work isn't just a biochem detail. It's a core MCAT concept that connects metabolism, inhibition, and even drug mechanisms. We're breaking down enzyme kinetics, what affects enzyme speed, how to interpret kinetic graphs, and what the MCAT actually wants you to take away from all this. Enzyme kinetics. Enzyme kinetics is the study of how fast enzyme catalyzed reactions happen. It looks at how reaction rate changes with things like substrate concentration, enzyme amount, and temperature. On the MCAT, think of it as how biology meets math, using measurable rates to explain how enzymes behave under different conditions. Michaelis-Menten kinetics. This is the foundation. The Michaelis-Menten equation shows the relationship between the reaction rate and substrate concentration. It's written as V naught equals V, max times substrate concentration, divided by Km plus substrate concentration. V max equals the maximum rate the enzyme can reach when it's fully saturated with substrate. Km equals the substrate concentration at which the rate is half of V max. Here's what matters for the MCAT. A low Km means high affinity. The enzyme binds substrate easily. A high Km means low affinity. You need more substrate to reach half of V max. Lineweaver-Burke plot. This is the double reciprocal form of Michaelis-Menten. It takes that curved graph and turns it into a straight line. When you plot 1 over V versus 1 over S, the y-intercept gives you 1 over V max, and the slope gives you Km over V max. MCAT tip. The Lineweaver-Burke plot often appears in questions comparing different types of inhibition: competitive, non-competitive, and uncompetitive. So knowing how Vmax and Km shift on the graph is key. Enzyme efficiency. Enzyme efficiency is all about how well an enzyme converts substrate to product. A good rule of thumb: low Km equals strong binding. High Vmax equals fast turnover. Together, these describe catalytic efficiency, often expressed as Kcat over Km. The higher the value, the more efficient the enzyme. Allosteric enzymes. Not all enzymes follow simple Michaelis-Menten kinetics. Allosteric enzymes have multiple active sites and show cooperative binding, meaning when one substrate binds, it makes it easier for others to bind. This gives them a sigmoidal S-shaped rate curve instead of the normal hyperbolic shape. You'll see this a lot in regulation, like hemoglobin, which isn't an enzyme but is a classic cooperative protein. Enzyme catalysis and transition states. Finally, remember how enzymes actually speed things up. They don't change the overall energy difference between reactants and products. They just lower the activation energy by stabilizing the transition state. That's what allows biological reactions to happen fast enough to sustain life. MCAT questions might test this idea by asking which part of a reaction an enzyme affects. Always answer activation energy, not delta G or equilibrium. Enzyme kinetics isn't about memorizing formulas. It's about understanding relationships. When you know how Km and Vmax change under different conditions, you can predict how drugs, inhibitors, and mutations will affect metabolism. And that's what the MCAT really tests. With that said, here are just a few of our student success stories. Students who improved their scores and even got into medical school. If you're preparing for the MCAT, click the link below to get started with your own preparation. We specialize in helping students reach a 515 plus score guarantee, and we'd love to help you too. And don't forget, subscribe to our channel for more MCAT breakdowns like this, and follow us on Instagram for extra tips and resources.